With the new TSI 2 and TSI 3 driver to come out by Titleist this year, the question is, which older model head, TS 917, 915, comes out in top when you divide the price on the second-hand market versus its performance? And I give you my overall winner. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. It's Simon down here at Lower Henwick Driving Range, and I just so happen to have the last 3 models of Titleist heads in stock at the moment. I thought, what better time to give these a head-to-head test, what they're going for at the moment on eBay in terms of the second-hand market, and which one for me comes out on top if you were looking for a new driver head, especially Titleist, because as any new model driver comes out, all the predecessors, hence these ones, all get slightly knocked down in price. So which one should you be putting your money into? So before we get into price, let's talk about appearance. And I do feel, especially as we go back in the years, so we've got the 917, 915, 930 and 910. These 4 drivers, obviously I haven't got those at the moment, these 4 drivers all look exactly the same. And I think Titleist made a very good decision to mix it up a bit, and they've mixed it up even better, I feel, with the TSI 2 and 3. However, that's going to be a £499 or £449 driver. So in terms of appearance, from the bottom, I say the TS3, on my personal appearance, or opinion I should say, comes out on top when it comes to appearance. When it comes to faces though, and I do feel like a lot more manufacturers now are changing the face of their drivers to make them look more futuristic, because there's only so much you can do with the bottom of the driver or the crown of the driver without affecting performance. The 917 actually looks a lot more modern, just with the decals, just with the stripes and everything else on it. I do feel the 917 makes it look a lot cleaner and sharper than, let's say, the TS3. That's all I want to say on the appearance side of it, but let's be honest, when it comes to the market now, the most popular drivers are the ones that are closest to the £350 mark, and they'll just look better. Appearance is very much subjective, and even though my opinion says the TS3 looks better, and potentially then it's the 917 and 915, a lot of you might be thinking, Simon, the 915 actually looks better than the lot. So when it comes down to appearance, it's everyone's own opinion. One thing that is not subjective, however, is the price. So let's go through each head now and find out exactly what these driver heads are going for. Titleist 915, let's start at the bottom. So this driver head is nearly on 6 years old now. Let's go on to sold listings, and right at the start they're £39. That is just ridiculous. 31 bid. That is outrageous. Is there any damage? Description, doesn't say there's any damage to it. If you get any of these drivers for £39, you're winning. You've just made yourself about £70. Roughly going for the £115 mark, as you can see there. I think for a good condition, overall hardly touched, basically brand new, head cover, decent shaft, decent grip, you're talking about the £100 mark. Obviously you can get better deals, and you guys show me loads of times off Facebook or Gumtree or wherever that you've got a fantastic deal, and I highly rate it. But I think if you're looking for a 915 driver at the moment, so like this one's £60, but it looks like it's been played out the bunker a few times. Again, as long as the face is intact, the head's intact, the performance is going to be there, you're going to be paying for condition, and this driver honestly can go between £60 to £100, and that's at a half decent price for drivers at the moment, because drivers from any era, any manufacturer model going for stupid prices. So between £60 to £100 for the 915 is a very strong start for performance versus, well, price. Okay, moving on to the 917 driver. Straight off the bat here, £127, and again, conditions always going to make a difference depending how clean you want it. Head cover, tools, obviously this has got the whole package. 18 bids, got to 127 plus postage, everything else to go with it. £95, this looks like a good deal. Again, 917, 100 to 140, 150 pounds depending on condition, is pretty much where you're looking. Obviously double check the grip, double check the shaft, has it got bag wear marks, is there a reason why it's going so cheap, why has no one else bought it? These are the kind of things that you obviously want to keep a look out for. 185 for a fairway wood brand new. Why not just go and get fitted for one that's this year's? That is a bit out there. £160 collection, this thing must be absolutely mint. up at St Anne's and Lytham. That plane is messing with my audio, but you get the idea. 60 to 100 pounds for the 915. I'd say realistically 100 to 140, or maybe 160 depending on how good the condition of the driver actually is, for the 917. How much is last year's TS3? Then last up, the TS3. What are you paying? Now the prices of these won't have dropped as much because obviously it's not as old, it's still current, and to be honest you could probably still get these fitted for in your pro shop, or down your local American Golf. Let's see what they're going for at the moment. Second hand, £235 this looks like, pre-owned. Now the one you see in my video, I actually bought, if you saw my unboxing video a couple of days ago, or 4 or 5 days ago, I actually bought the head only for £95. May need to do this video, but as you can see with the shaft, decent grip, they're looking like they're going to be, with 21 watches at £250, that is going to go. Is that brand new? That looks pretty much brand new. It says pre-owned, but a lot of places say pre-owned because they're not allowed to sell brand new equipment online, bear that in mind. So if you say pre-owned, then you can sell it. Driver head only, going for 200. Well, I'm just going to sell my head. If this guy gets 200 quid, I've made 110 pounds off that. That's not a bad flip. Okay, looking at this, actually tell you what, let's have a look what's sold recently. So I'm going to say, as a ballpark, £80 for the 915, £120 for the 917, and looking at this, 195. There's always going to be once in a blue moon kind of sales, guys, so don't get me wrong. Some of you will be like, I've got this TS3 for 100 quid off my mate. That's very good, but I'm talking about averages. TS3 235, Driver 205. Okay, realistically you can pick up the TS3, TS1, TS2, TS4, 5, 6, how many other TSs they will bring out, for about 200 to 220 pounds with a head in good condition. So going forward with the performance, we're looking at £80 915, £120 917, or £200 TS3, which is quite a big jump. £80 from the other two, which are probably about £40 behind each other. Bearing in mind, as that TS3 gets older, again the price is going to come down with it. Let's go and give them a hit. Okay, shots hit with all three drivers, and I definitely have a firm favourite in terms of performance and price. 915 was the first one out, and it's interesting how all three heads felt very different on the same shaft. I've never tried different eras of heads on the same shaft before, and it's amazing the difference in terms of feel and weight that they all have, even though if you put them all on scales, they're going to be pretty much exactly the same. 915 sounded awful compared to the other ones, and to be honest, that doesn't surprise me because over the last 5 years, everything sounds a lot more duller, lower spinning, dampening, that kind of solid feel, and I think we all associate solid sounding, not that ping. Do you know what I mean? If you hear a ping off a driver, you automatically assume it's low quality, and I think every manufacturer now, especially the F9, the M5 that came out with tailor-made, Callaway Epic Flash, they all sound like they're dull, dampened, like thuds rather than a high ping, and I think we all associate that now as low spinning. That's why automatically maybe the numbers would have been good with the 915, and I'm not putting numbers on this. I mean, we will have launch money to the channel soon, but you're not going to get anything from me hitting it. They all produce the same ball speed, but it just automatically, I assume that the 915's lesser quality, and the fact it's only £40 difference between the 917 kind of makes it, well, just not worth investing in at the moment. Now I have to note the 917 is actually a D2, so the 915 and the TS3 are actually the same kind of model ahead, i.e. low spinning heads, smaller, more controlling for the better player. The D2 is for more of your higher handicapper, and that's probably why I favoured it more. It felt very light on the end of the shaft, and to be honest, I quite liked the way it sat, felt, and was carried throughout my entire swing. That is where I hit it the best, and it didn't have that high ping sound that you got from the 915. It gave you more of that kind of modern feel and touch, and overall I hit it the best out of all three of them. Now I'd say I hit the TS3 the longest, but what's 10-15 yards here and there for my game? I need straight, I don't need long. Like, I don't need a Bryson 350, I need, well, just anyone that can hit it 260 that way, especially on the golf courses that I play at. So overall, when I'm looking at drivers for myself, I'm looking where's my bad shot? Is my bad shot awful? And even the bad shots were pretty good with the 917. And at only £40, let's say £120 to £140 for a decent one of these, it definitely tips the scales in terms of performance versus price. And then lastly, the TS3. It's the first time I've ever hit a TS Driver, by the way. I've never been able to trial test them because I've never fitted for Titleist clubs. So it's the first time I hit it, and it had a very similar feel to the 915 D3, because again, similar head design. So it actually felt a bit heavier. When I caught one, I could tell I've hit enough shots on GC2 Trackman flight scope that it just goes a mile, because it hits that high launch, low spinning shot. But the bad shots were just all over the place, and that's not to take away from the head, but when I'm looking at these three heads in terms of distance versus performance and sound, aesthetics, you name it, £220, £240, I just think it's too much for what you're getting at the moment. Too much to that closer price mark. Like, go and get fitted for a Mizuno, or go and get fitted for a Cobra at $349. I imagine most places probably do them at $320 with a custom head and shaft. The TS3 at the moment is just too close to that kind of, just go and get custom fitted for one, rather than just taking a bit of a wing and a prayer on a second-hand one. Compared to the 917, that pretty much gives you exactly what the TS3 will. Obviously, you can choose a 917 D2 or D3, depending if you want the low spin. Obviously, the D3 or the higher spinning D2 gives you just as much, and again, at the fraction of the price. So when I'm comparing these three heads together, I mean, the trophy just has to go to the 917. So guys, there is my verdict on these three driver heads. I want to do more of these kind of videos. I want to make them more elaborate. I will get numbers, data and everything else for these as well, because I think it make it interesting. Please comment down below what kind of heads you want to see, or maybe irons, or maybe wedges, something else, because I think it's a very interesting topic, and this series has got legs, because again, it's always balancing the performance versus the price, and I think it's a very simple algorithm. The more cost effective and the closest to more modern technology in terms of performance, well, it's just a recipe for a good bargain or good deal. Guys, make sure to leave this video a like if you liked it, subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys later.